Welcome back to the Gridiron Goons. This is your host, Brandon. I'm with the preacher.
What up?
I'm with the Sean O'Mac.
Hello.
You know, it's Monday, so we're talking about college, which means you don't get to hear my voice too much until the end when we start getting to Brandon's bandwagons.
Well, as we're recording this podcast right now, the last quarterfinal game is wrapping up.
The Sugar Bowl?
The Sugar Bowl was postponed, obviously, due to the tragic events in New Orleans on New Year's Eve. So, obviously condolence out to everybody that's been affected and prayers to your families and just the friends. And hopefully this nation, can figure out what happened and prevent it from happening again.
I agree.
But we're going to break down the first three games that happened. And then obviously we'll kind of break down this Georgia-Notre Dame game after it gets done. Sean, the first game, New Year's Eve. I think it went the way everybody expected it to go. But it was Penn State, Boise State. Now, everybody can talk about the matchups and how probably the seeding was terrible, but that is what it is. It's done over. This game really came down to Ashton Jeanty. Was he going to be able to carry the Boise State Broncos to the promised land? And clearly he did not. He had a great game himself.
Great game.
But just in general, was not able to make it done. What does this mean for Boise State's future? Do you think that this is a one and done flash in the pan?
Especially with them losing Jeanty. It's one and done. Sorry, Boise State fans, but let's just be real here. It really is. They were overmatched, overpowered, outperformed by a really, really good Big Ten school. And it really showed.
They are a really good Big Ten school. I know a lot of the things for Penn State has been that James Franklin can't win big games.
Yes.
Whether you say this is not a big game because it's Boise State or whatever, however you want to say it.
And I know what everyone's out there saying. Oh, Penn State's path to the Final Four. They went through SMU and then Boise. It was so easy. Well, first of all, let me crush that. If your team makes it to the playoff, you're pretty good, regardless.
Yeah, you have to play.
Yes.
You still have to play every game. And, whether that's, getting lucky because one school lost 1 week. But at the end of the day, you got to play the game. And, maybe it's a little bit of the fact that Boise State had the bye. We've seen every team so far that has played the week previous. We've seen them play even better that second week. You talk about this game. We're going to talk about the next three games in front of it. But Penn State came in, knew what they needed to do, and said, "You know what? We're gonna play this game. We're gonna put it in our hands." Ashton Jeanty in the game had 30 carries for 104 yards and no touchdowns, and that's probably to me the reason why they lost that game was because they were not able to get him the ball to make touchdown plays. And kudos to Penn State. Penn State on this past game, it was an opportunity for them to make a statement win, propel themselves into this next round, which either they're gonna get Notre Dame or Georgia. And to be honest with you, either way,
I really want that Penn State Notre Dame matchup, dude. Like, bad.
Penn State's looking really good, though.
Yes, and I said it a couple of weeks ago, not to cut you off, but Drew Aller is balling. He is looking really good.
Look, this is a team that's peaking at the right time.
Yes.
It's all about peaking at the right time, and for them, they had 21 first downs to Boise's 24. They were 5 for 13 on third downs, 8 for 16 for Boise, 387 yards total for Penn State, and 412 for Boise. So this game really, Boise had it from the offensive perspective, but we look at the fact that they threw 3 interceptions on this game, and that really 3 interceptions, 4 total turnovers. That is crucial.
Genty had a great game. He just couldn't get the backup he needed.
Yeah, I'd like to actually say something about Genty. So we all know I don't know a lot of college ball, but I do know a good player when I see one. And people that are saying that Genty's been exposed, he's not as good as he is, if that's your view, you don't, bless you, you don't know ball. Dead ass. Just because he didn't get the touchdown when every single player on that defense knew he was going to get the ball somehow? Come on, dude. And he still put up over 100 yards?
Yeah.
Grow up, dude. That guy,
He can play.
he is going to be one of the best running backs that we've seen in a while. Come into the NFL, I believe. I think he's going to be up there.
Is he going to be on your team next year?
100% because I will get that 1-1 from you.
Oh.
Right. Oh, okay, a little background on this. So right now, Preacher ultimately is holding Brandon at will because Brandon wants Genty really bad. And Brandon don't have a first round pick.
No,
And he's trying to move into the 1. Let alone the first round. And he's trying to get the 1-1 to get Genty, but Preach is driving a hard bargain to...
But here's the thing is I'm not going to outbid myself. I have 2 bids out there ready to go. He can take his pick of the 2. If he thinks I'm going to move much off of what's out there right now, he's got another thing coming.
See, I don't...
He has 4 first-round picks. You're not using all 4. You'd much rather get out of there with an established guy with at least one of them picks, for sure.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm not going to take your pick or take your trade, but what I am saying is we just entered the offseason.
Yes.
And there's plenty of things to happen through the offseason. There's plenty of moves and free agency to take place. Who's getting who in the draft. For me, I have a list of players that I think are going to do really good. But sometimes it's just situational where they go.
Wait, Preach, so you have a big board?
I don't have a big board per se, but I have definitely a big brain board up
Could you tell us some of them people on your board?
Ashton Genty.
I'll give you another one of mine because I don't need to hide shit because I create my own destiny. And that's, I don't know how to say his last name, but Cam Scatabo? Scattaboo, sorry. That guy's a thug, dude.
Yeah, dude,
that guy's a monster.
Speaking about that, he was throwing up on the sideline yesterday in their loss, unfortunately. But he did win Offensive MVP in the loss.
Crazy.
So that's that itself is a feat. This game, the Texas-Arizona State game. Now, I'll be honest with you.
It was a great game.
I thought Texas was going to come out. I thought Texas was going to just dominate all facets of the game and really control the way the game was. And honestly, for the first half, it kind of did look that way. It looked like Texas, it seemed like Arizona State was able to be there, but they couldn't. It never felt like they had the game like in their destiny, in their hands, like they controlled it. It was almost like Texas was there. They were making plays, and then it looked like they started playing with their food. And
tell you what, they better not come out like that against Buckeyes.
Right. But in this game, Texas had 17 first downs. Arizona State had 29. Texas was 5 for 13. Arizona was 10 for 24. Texas went 2 for 2 on fourth down, where Arizona State went 3 for 6. Yards wise, 375 total yards, 322 were in the air, 53 on the ground for Texas, and that's a problem.
I thought Texas was more of a run first kind of school. Am I wrong?
Here's the deal: Texas never used Arch Manning, and throughout the year we've seen that if Texas used Arch Manning as a running quarterback to free up space, they traditionally win the game and they control the game more. For whatever reason, they never really fired him up at all.
I'll tell you what, if this thing goes south for Texas coming against Ohio State, we're going to be seeing Arch.
Hey, we'll get there. We'll get to that preview here soon. But Arizona State went 296 in the air, 214 on the ground.
Woo!
I gotta figure out what. I'll look at it later. Here's the deal.
Look, man, here's the deal.
Arizona State threw one pick in the game, and that one pick was the one that sent them home. And hate to be that way, hate to come down to second overtime, marching down the field to look like you're going to score. I know people at home, you're going to argue, was it targeting? Was it not targeting? Evo says it's not targeting.
I don't think so. I watched that play. I seen it pop up on my TikTok, Facebook. I do not believe it's targeting. I don't believe so.
I think if you understood the way college football plays, you would say that's targeting.
I just think football in general has gotten so soft.
Understandable. But the way the letter of the law has stated, that definitely was a targeting call that was missed. Unfortunately, you hate to see a game come down to a call, right? Because if they got that call right...
Chiefs.
College show today.
Oh, you guys like to bring college into our other show all the time.
But anyhow, they were marching down the field. That could have been a key point to them. But the problem is I always say, whether the refs give you a call or take a call away from you, you still have the control of the game. And you have to put it on the field. And Arizona State, there were times where they didn't get the points that they needed to get. Now, granted, part of their big comeback was when Texas handed the ball off in the end zone and boom, snapped right on the football with the helmet, popped it out. Quinn Ewers caught it and went down for the safety in the end zone, which, I mean, looking at it, it was definitely a 5-point swing. Like, if you would have never got it, it would have been a touchdown and it could have been a completely different game. But, Arizona State, hats off to them. Really great year.
Great year.
But your hat's still on.
Oh, sorry. Hats off to you. My bad. No.
And they're a team that's out of the playoff. I could see making a run next year again as well. Even though they don't have Cam.
Probably.
Maybe this is a start of something, especially for these teams, Boise State, Arizona State. Transfer portal, NIL money, all that is a different field and just a different idea. How many more teams are we going to see where parity is going to get bigger in the NCAA, where you might get a team like Boise State able to go on a run because they got 2 or 3 high-quality players and were able to just run the table. Who knows? But, Texas moves on to the Cotton Bowl. They play the winner, Ohio State. They beat Oregon.
They beat their ass, bro.
They hung 30 on them by the second quarter.
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck
this
was
game,
that?
I went to the Ohio State-Tennessee game.
Yes.
There were some parts of the game that I thought Ohio State could improve on in the Tennessee game. But I'll be honest right now, if this Ohio State team plays the same way they played last night or on Wednesday against Texas, I don't have anything to really complain. You can nitpick the fine, minute details here and there, giving up the big plays. But honestly, this game could have been an absolute shutout. I mean, this game was probably 3 plays from being a shutout. Now, Oregon went down at the back half of the second half, scored a touchdown, went into the locker room with points on the board. That was a huge momentum shift for them. Came out, Ohio State 3rd and 22, had the ability to stop them, get the ball back and score coming out of the second half. Allowed them to score again. So there's a couple things that happened, but man, this Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith is an absolute dog, and this game was his coming out party. This was the game that he was like, you know what, I'm going to show the world, and he showed the world this week.
And in 2 playoff games, he's got almost like 400 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns.
It's insane.
It is.
It's insane.
That's nuts.
That's what I told you earlier at work. I think the best thing was that Michigan loss for this Ohio State team. It's fueling the fire, without a doubt in my mind.
For sure. I mean, that definitely is the reason why.
And everyone talking, you lost to Michigan, a down Michigan year. And I think it's going to fuel them, man.
In the Tennessee game, 6 receptions for 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oregon gained 7 receptions, 187 yards.
Yes, I'm tanking
2
for
touchdowns.
You can't do that,
man.
There's something called integrity.
Yeah. The love of the game, man. You can't do that.
He's talking in the Dynasty League. He's going to tank so we can get him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm going to tank for 2 years. I'm going to tank.
Wait, only has a tank for the
Well, I know. But, I mean, either way.
It's not like he's winning anytime soon. Shitter!
Whoa.
Shit to bed.
Anyway.
And what the hell happened to Dylan Gabriel?
The Ohio State defense, that's what happened.
Oh, my God. And he was up for the Heisman?
He was. I mean,
It's probably because his dope-ass unis, bro.
listen, so I'm gonna go for it.
You're bumming ass
Wow, thanks, bud.
He's got sleeves like Tua, too. Gabriel does.
shit. Preacher doesn't have any tattoos, though.
No, Gabriel.
Yeah, I don't have any tattoos, but Ohio State's defense. Jim Knowles came into this year, I think, playing a little bit different football. We've seen when he started at Ohio State, he was a very pass rush heavy, kind of 0 safeties, kind of man defense, and it burned him a lot.
Jack Sawyer.
So, yes, Jack Sawyer. So, I think throughout the year, they've tried some things. They didn't get enough pressure on the defense at times, but they did allow more of a bend, don't break style on the back end. Don't allow those big, massive plays to get you burnt down the field. But I think that this team, with that Michigan loss, they go, okay, it's a 4-game season, right? Forget the Michigan game. Like, it sucks we lost 4 years in a row. It sucks we lost in the game the way we did. But this is 4-game season. We're two games in, and we got 2 games left. The prize and the mission isn't over. But that defensive line got to Dylan Gabriel. There was rushing wise, there was negative 23 yards. That includes obviously all the sacks that Dylan Gabriel had. I believe that Ohio State had 8 sacks on Dylan Gabriel throughout the game. It was an absolute just a defensive performance out there. The stat wise, Ohio State 20 first downs, 4 for 11 on third downs, 500 total yards, 319 in the air, 181 on the ground, on 31 rushing attempts for an average of 5.8 yards per carry, 2 for 14 in penalties, 0 turnovers, and time of possession was 29:05. Oregon had more time of possession, but Oregon had 15 first downs, 8 for 19 on third downs, 2 for 3 on fourth downs, 276 total yards, 299 of those total yards in the air, negative 23 on the ground on 28 rushing attempts.
And I know Tez Johnson got banged up too. I don't know if he sat out the game. But I do want to say something about that Buckeye defense. maybe one of the, if not the best transfer move last year. Maybe it was talked about, but it's not so much brought up now. Is Caleb Downs, absolute stud.
Oh, absolute game changer.
Wow, I was watching him yesterday. He's literally all over the field, returning punts, returning kicks, coming up to the line, making tackles. Like, dude, when he's going to be a first round pick, hands down. He's just an absolute game changer.
I'll say one of the best things that happened for Ohio State this offseason is Nick Saban retiring. Because if Nick Saban didn't retire, Caleb Downs wouldn't be here, and Jeremiah Smith wouldn't be here. And so that's a crucial two people there. You know, you bring in Judkins as well as a running back. You know, Henderson and Judkins. I mean, think about this. Travion Henderson had a 68-yard touchdown run.
Mm-hmm.
And then Judkins would answer with like a 40-yard run. I mean, it seemed like those two this year have just fueled each other. Like, one gets a big play and the other one's like, all right, awesome. I love that. Here, I'm going to get a big play. And they just kind of fed off each other. And I think the way Ohio State, defensively, they were rotating players. There's some plays Jack Sawyer wasn't even on the field, and they still were taking pressure and getting to the quarterback. Sonny Styles, an absolute stud on the defensive side of the ball. This team is ticking on all cylinders. They're playing right time, right gameplay. In this Texas-Ohio State matchup, which I want to spend pretty much the rest of the time here before we get into this Georgia game, which kind of looks like Notre Dame's going to win, but it's not over. Texas is going to play a de facto home game in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Ohio State fans typically travel well because there's a lot of them across the country. Texas, they've looked really good and really bad.
Yes.
Texas, the one thing for me with Texas is when they don't rush the ball. They had 53 yards on the ground in this game against Arizona State. When they don't rush, they lose. It's the whole season. When they don't rush, they lose. Against Georgia, I believe it was, I'm going to pull it up here, stat-wise, they had, well, they obviously went to overtime, 51 yards on the ground by their running back. That's huge right there. I mean, that's something that you can't, you have to be able to rush. You have to be able to play well. And the way Ohio State is playing right now, I don't know how much success running the ball you're going to have. And so you're going to have to do it with the arm talent of Ewers.
Yes. And one of the best tight ends in the country that they hardly utilize,
right.
as in Hunter Helms.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
So, I mean, and you look at their games now, the beginning of the year, Michigan game, that was a terrible Michigan team. At the beginning of the year, they were a terrible team. Texas A&M, they beat 17-7. And then they lost in overtime 22-19 against Georgia. They beat Clemson, but Clemson came back in the second half. They did the same thing this time with Arizona State. Mm-hmm. If they get out to a big lead, they start to play with their food. They start to kind of put the foot off the gas, just kind of chill out. We got this. And then, so they're not going to be able to do that in this game against Ohio State. Quinn Ewers, he can play.
He can play.
But
he's so sketchy, man.
Right.
He's sketchy at best?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
So, I mean, he can play. You're going to have to utilize Arch Manning. You're going to have to...
If this thing goes south, like I think it's going to, we're going to see Manning.
Do we see an Alabama pulling, your starting quarterback for your backup mid-game?
Hurts Tua situation?
Mm-hmm.
Wow!
Gotta blow the mic out.
Wow!
Almost blew it out again.
What's your thoughts on this game here, bud?
What one?
The Texas-Ohio State game.
Hook 'em horns.
Oh.
Hook 'em horns.
I'm going to give my prediction for this game, and it's Ohio State's going to win big.
What does that mean?
It's like what they
Horns
always
down.
do, horns down, like they're going to lose.
Oh, nah.
Yeah.
Hook 'em horns.
Yeah.
All right.
Ohio State, I'll be honest with
Matthew
you.
McConaughey is there, Taylor Swift. That is funny. That might get you kicked off my list, though.
Oh.
Anyway, keep going.
Speaking about your list.
No, keep going.
I was just going to say, I think Ohio State comes in this game with a chip on their shoulder still. They still got things to prove.
They're crossed off my list.
Well, I know they are, but
Trash.
If this thing goes south, I'm telling you right now, we're going to see the Manning era begin.
okay.
Ewers is going to either transfer out because he's getting offered a shitload of money to transfer somewhere else for his last year eligibility.
Okay.
But there's people like, don't enter the draft. You can make more money, go somewhere else, play out your last year.
Okay.
So if this thing goes south,
Okay.
we're going to see the Manning era begin.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I hate the argument if you can make more money transferring for the NIL deal than you will in the NFL.
Yes, it's here to stay. It's a legit thing.
Hold on. But your traditional 5-year rookie contract in the NFL would get up 1 year sooner, and now you can make $50 million a year. So you really make more money going to the NFL. Just want to throw that out there.
Maybe he thinks he comes back for that last year eligibility, right? Get his draft stock up a little bit, right?
I don't.
Right.
Yes. Do you want to get into your list here before we preview or go through the game that's about to wrap up now?
That's fine. So in Brandon's bandwagon, I'll read them right quick. We have 20 teams left in the running to find out who I'm going to bandwagon next season. We got Alabama, Arkansas Razorbacks, Boise State Broncos, Cal Golden Bears, the Colorado Buffaloes,
Yes.
the Florida Gators,
Yes.
the Florida State Seminoles, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Who's that?
Take it easy.
Down the track.
Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, Iowa Hawkeyes, the LSU Tigers, the Miami Hurricanes, the Michigan State Spartans, the Oklahoma Sooners, the Oregon Ducks,
Ugh.
Tennessee Vols, Texas Longhorns,
Ugh.
Texas A&M,
Ugh.
UNC,
Ugh.
and Notre Dame.
Ugh.
As I like to say, Notre Dame. Let me tell you, right off the bat,
Yes.
Arkansas Razorbacks are off my list. I've seen your disgusting ass play
Dude, let's talk about
of
that.
number
Let's
50
talk about that.
Number 55 stepping on that guy's ankle. And Harper, I know you're upset about it too. Stepping on that guy's ankle, and it looked like it legitimately hurt him.
Yeah.
Not just like it bruised me. He looked
No, it
very
was dirty.
hurt.
No room for that in college ball.
There was another one as well, but I don't remember the number that did it. But there was also a very dirty play as well.
In the same
team.
game.
Yep, same game. And I just don't remember that one offhand. You guys are off my list. I think that's a coaching thing, not a Razorback thing.
What about a character thing?
Right, but I think it's the coach that's making the character changes.
Oh, wow.
So they are definitely off my list. I'm done with them. Number 2 that's off my list immediately as well. No one can talk me in or out of it. Is the Miami Hurricanes. Now this is purely on character. Cam Ward decided to go in, throw one touchdown pass so he could make the record, and then sit himself out when his team needed him the most. Bye. See ya. As a coach, you shouldn't have allowed that to happen. You should have benched him either the whole game or told him to play the whole game. Take your pick.
Well, he called it a business decision.
I don't give a fuck. That is ridiculous. Yeah, remember when Anthony Richardson said I was tired and tapped
Yes.
out? Right. We don't do that. That's not something we do.
Well,
So
and-
you two are immediately off of my list. We are going to eliminate 3 more by the end of this episode.
Oh.
But those are the two I wanted to get out of the way right now.
Obviously.
Like Cam Ward is expected to go in the first round. If you're an NFL scout and you see that, what are you thinking? Like, is this dude going to give up on us?
That's what
I
I'm
was saying,
thinking.
too.
You
I mean,
know, like
Is this going to be a playoff game? But he's already got the single season yards.
does he get his contract? Extra bonuses in the 17th or the 16th game of the
And sit
season,
out?
so
Yeah.
sits out 17 and 18.
And they need to win to get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Is that what it is? Thanks.
Who you should also cross off the list? The
let's
Georgia
find out.
Bulldogs, because they just lost to the Notre Dame
Yes.
Fighting Irish, 23-10. That means that Penn State and Notre Dame
give me
meet
that matchup, dude.
in the Peach Bowl. So that's going to be awesome.
Would you like to talk about that? before we continue?
I'm going to get into this game. So this game just completed as we're talking on the pod. 23-10, the final for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish over the Georgia Bulldogs. Notre Dame, 11 first downs, 213 total, 88 in the air, and 125 on the ground. Now, Georgia, 16 first downs, 2 for 11 on third downs.
Oh.
Notre Dame was 2 for 10 on third downs. Both 0-1 and 0-2 on fourth downs.
Oh, my God.
Total yards for Georgia, 294, 225 in the air, 69 on the ground. 28 rushing attempts for 2.5 yards per carry. Meanwhile, 26 rushing attempts for Notre Dame for 4.8 yards per carry. Notre Dame in this next game's got to take care of penalties. 9 for 70, and Georgia had 3 for 25. Georgia also had 2 fumbles on the game. First off, that means there's only one SEC team left,
Yes.
which the SEC bias is strong in ESPN land. Man, it's so nice to see the SEC lose.
It's nice to see a couple of Big Ten schools in the Final Four.
Yes. This game...
Even if they're your biggest rival?
Yeah, I still like the conference overall.
I mean, I
Okay,
think there's kind of this college... It's not really a written rule, but it's kind of one of those unwritten rules.
yes.
That come bowl season, you root more for your conference. So,
Okay.
I like to see Michigan beat Alabama because, obviously, I hate Alabama, but...
Why? Because you guys have the same colors, pretty much?
Well, preach. Remember when that game was on? I was giving you updates every time.
You were? Yes. You were giving me updates.
Give me. I said last week Notre Dame's going to make a deep run and sign me up all day long for this Penn State Notre Dame matchup. Bro.
Now this Penn State Notre Dame matchup is actually a really interesting matchup. Penn State has the only 2 losses on Penn State's record. Obviously, was Ohio State loss and the Oregon loss, and Notre Dame's playing really good football. They came. And they didn't make it competitive against Oregon, but they at least didn't lie down and just let them roll over like Oregon did for Ohio State. But the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Nittany.
I always thought it was nifty, but finding out it was Nittany, that's terrible.
Nittany's so
That
stupid.
is so terrible. Honestly, man, this game is going to be an absolute...
Sign me up for that Drew Aller Riley Leonard matchup, dude. I'm down. I'm so ready for that.
What the hell's a Riley Leonard?
The quarterback for Notre Dame.
Trash.
You don't even know college
He
ball,
transferred
man.
there from Duke.
Yeah. So, Notre Dame...
Duke's a basketball school, man.
Notre Dame
is.
beat Texas A&M. Big wins on the year. Texas A&M, obviously, I would count Navy and Army because kind of they were pretty decent this year. Obviously, Indiana in the first round of the playoffs, and then obviously this one game here with Georgia. Their next game, obviously, Penn State. Notre Dame runs the ball very well.
Yes.
We see that in the stat lines. The question becomes, now we saw it last week, or this past week, with Penn State shutting down Ashton Jeanty. Are they going to be able to shut down the Notre Dame Fighting Irish's offensive line in the rushing game? And if so, I think Penn State will win this game. Sean, what's your thoughts? What early line here? We're not gonna pick the game because you know what, we can actually kind of do it another week because we got a week and a half to go before this game. So, kind of early thoughts on this one.
Oh man, I'm so excited for this game. Early thoughts are I have Notre Dame winning by 3.
Oh,
yes.
we're gonna take our picks right now, then I guess.
I will never vote for anything called a Nittany Lion.
Oh,
Notre Dame.
And let's not forget, Drew Aller is playing really good, and Penn State does have the Mackey Award winner for the best. They have the best tight end in the country. So, with that being said,
yes.
if they can shut Tyler Warren down, or at least take him out of the passing game, I think Notre Dame's got a good chance.
Well, you know what? Since we're putting picks out there, I'm going to say it anyhow. Penn State's going to beat Notre Dame, and it's going to be Ohio State, Penn State, and the national.
Oh,
So
wow.
so if it's 2 Big Ten teams, you vote against Ohio State then, right?
Yes.
And I would vote for.
But if Notre Dame gets in, you're going to vote for Ohio State. They're an independent. It doesn't count.
Well, if we went back, hold on.
Whoa.
If we went back to the archives from about 3 weeks ago, I had Notre Dame making the deep run. I said it right here on the pod, and winning the chip. So I'm going to stick with it.
Okay, then.
I mean, I think in a national championship, maybe the unwritten rule is over. Like, it's one game, like, especially, like, 2. I mean, really think about it. Ohio State, Penn State, huge part of the Big Ten, huge part of the college football. Notre Dame, Ohio State, that would be an absolute barn burner, dude.
Dude, sign me up.
That'd be great.
I'm for
Ohio
it, bro.
State's still going to win anyhow,
But
either way, all the way.
Would I love to see Penn State, Ohio State in a natty game? Yes.
Yeah.
Not just overall for the Big Ten Conference.
Dude, you know what would have been awesome? Is if they did away with neutral site championship games. Imagine the national championship, Penn State, Ohio State, or Notre Dame, Ohio State, or Notre Dame, Texas, at the home stadium of the higher seed.
Yes. Sign me up for
You
it.
don't want to see him in the toilet bowl.
Imagine Ohio State. It would be.
Ohio State looks like a toilet seat.
Yeah, but
We've been over this.
It would be in Penn State.
Ew. I don't like that either.
But they're doing stadium renovations right now. Did you see that?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Anyhow, to your list, my friend.
Going back to my list
Yeah,
now?
you got to take people out.
Well, we got 3 more to take out. So, because I was going to be on the Genty bandwagon, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be there,
Yeah.
we're taking off the blue-turfed Boise State Broncos.
Okay.
Like I said, I need a team good enough to talk shit,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, they're not it.
Yeah.
I got 2 more to take out, and I am coming to you guys. What do you guys think? Maybe help me make a decision or 2.
Well, I think.
I got a couple that I know aren't going to last till the end, but I want to see what you guys think.
I know you like the Oregon Ducks because they have
The
all these
dopest unis.
But imagine having 30 some different unis and 0 national championship.
Don't care.
Oh, okay.
Their unis are probably going to propel them into my top 5 dead ass.
Do you think you can ride with Bill Belichick or not?
No. No, I don't. You're right. UNC, you're out of here. Kick rocks, homeboy.
Wow.
Sean, you're up.
Wow.
You're up.
Can you really see yourself riding with Arch Manning for the next couple of years?
I love the hook 'em horns idea. And Peyton Manning is my favorite quarterback of all time. He's the number one on my list. So I'll give him some. That's his uncle, right?
Sean, yeah.
I mean, can you really see yourself yelling at TV, "Let's go, Rainbow Warriors"?
No, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. You're right. I'd love to play in Hawaii. Don't get me wrong, but anything with a rain. You know what?
Hawaii
I'm not
ain't had
getting
nothing
into
since
that.
Colt Brennan.
I don't even know
R.I.P.
what that means. But looks like
All
the
right.
Rainbow Warriors is off. We got about 15 teams left. And, absolutely.
I mean, can you really see yourself liking the Alabama Kansas Tide team that lost to Michigan?
Roll,
With
Tide,
Dallas?
roll!
High Tide.
I'm sorry I blew the mic out, but I kind of needed to do that.
High Tide.
So, who
Yes.
else is going to play next week? So it's Texas, Ohio, and then...
So Texas and Ohio State play on Friday the 10th, and Thursday the 9th, Notre Dame plays Penn State. So this is a great weekend of college football and football in general, because think about it. You have the Thursday night playoff game. You have a Friday night playoff game. Then you have Saturday super wild card weekend. And then Sunday,
Keep going.
super wild card weekend. And then the Monday night game. 2 games on Sunday, 1 game on Monday night. And then it's going to be great.
So, are you more excited for the Texas Ohio State or the Notre Dame Penn State?
Notre Dame Penn State.
Are you going to have any money on that game?
Probably a good bet.
I love that. So, I think we're about wrapped up for this episode. I do want to say we are going to have another bonus episode. I know we're just loading you guys up with bonus
Yes.
episodes lately, but it's because we're trying to still get out there.
Just
Our
like
following.
Teddy Swims.
I love Teddy Swims. You know that. Shout out Teddy Swims, Georgia fan, by the way. He was in that song with Quavo.
Well, he's probably not happy right now.
Irregardless, Teddy
Alright.
Swims a homie.
R.I.P. Quavo.
Quavo's alive for the last fucking time.
Oh,
R.I.P. Takeoff.
yes.
Anyway, we are coming at you with a bonus episode next Wednesday.
Yes.
It's going to be just a playoff picture kind of deal. Predictions, maybe a Super Bowl matchup prediction. And then we have a very special surprise coming on the Friday after.
Because that is our 50th
5-0.
episode. 5-0.
50. We're over the hill,
Yeah. Oh, no.
like Sean.
We haven't even got
That's
off
my-
the runway.
Well, anyway, tell your friends about us. Some of us, some people like us, some people hate us. But
And that's okay.
it is what it is,
and
man.
I had Notre Dame making a deep run.
You did.
You did. Well,
I think they're...
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you think they're going to win the Netty?
I do.
the Netty?
The Netty.
I do.
Well, anyhow, I'm Preacher Man, and Ohio State's just been taking names and making plays.
Snapping necks and cashing checks?
Yes.
Oh,
Let us
shit.
know if you're on the wagon tanking for Jeremiah.
Is that what your signing out's going to be tonight?
And that's us at the Gridiron Goon Studios. And always remember, if you don't have nothing to say because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, don't say anything at all. This is your week.